everyone, it's Erin from the Provincial Farmhouse. In today's video, I'm doing some moody home decor thrift flips. For my first project, I'm going to be working on this little metal urn that I thrifted for just a few dollars. I loved the shape, but we're going to give it a moody makeover. I'm going to spray it first with some clear coat so that it's sort of primed. We can add some paint. And then I took out my rapid casting resin by Paint Couture, and I'm pouring out equal parts step 1 and step 2 into a silicone cup. And then I will stir it really well. I'm using the black resin today. Because I'm going to be working a lot with black paint, I thought it only made sense to use the black resin. Once I've got equal amounts poured out, I'm going to stir it for about 30 to 40 seconds, making sure it's all well combined. And then I'm going to start pouring it into my Salon de Glace mold by Redesign. I love using clay, obviously, but today I thought I would go with resin, as there's going to be parts of the design that are going to need a bit more support than clay offers. So resin is definitely great for this when you're going to have pieces sort of hanging off that need to be able to support their own weight. This particular resin takes about 10 minutes to cure, so it's nice and quick. Next, I'm going to take my resin casting out. Now, it has not long been cured because I want to be able to bend it and manipulate it and shape it to our little urn pot. And this works best when you do it immediately after taking it out of the casting while it still is a little bit warm. So here I'm just shaping it to the rounded surface, getting it in the shape that I want. And then I'm going to be using a combination of Gorilla Super Glue Gel and also hot glue to adhere it to the surface. I want to make sure that I have a decent amount of glue on there. I want it to really stay there and not come off. So this is definitely my best option. Once I have enough glue on the surface, I'm going to position it on the urn, and then I went in and started adding the hot glue. I was sort of just lifting it up in certain places and adding dabs of glue where I felt like it was needed. I'm also going to be tidying up any excess glue with a wet wipe as soon as I can see that there is an excess. You don't want to wait too long because hot glue does tend to dry quite quickly on metal surfaces. So I'm just going to continue to work my way around, gluing down the different parts of the casting and making sure it's all secure. I then took out Paint Couture's Pitch Black chalk paint. I'm going to take some of that paint out and put it into a smaller container. And then I'm going to be using my Salt Wash texture additive, and I'm going to put a couple of scoops out into the paint, just adding it a little bit at a time until I'm happy with the consistency. I mainly want to thicken up that paint so that we can create some texture. I'm then going to start applying that with a chip brush, which is also going to help us with the texture. And I'm just dabbing that product on to the surface and also just making sure that I'm getting it down in all of the crevices. Now, you probably could have painted the urn before you put the casting on, but when I'm working with a large piece of resin like this, I do prefer to stick it directly onto the surface that I'm working with. I don't want to risk that something this big might be too heavy and pull on the painted surface that I glue it over. So I just like to glue it directly on the surface. That way I am pretty assured that it is going to stick and stay there. And it's not too tricky here to get into all of those details because the chip brush I'm using does have long bristles. So I'm just going to continue to work my way around the urn. I'm already loving how it's starting to look more at one with the piece. It's starting to look like it's always been there, and I'm just going to keep on going until I have the whole thing painted. And I did also end up painting the inside of the urn as well so that it looked like a finished project. I ended up doing 2 coats, and then I decided to mix up a metallic color. I'm mixing 2 parts bronze to 1 parts black pearl, and I'm stirring that really, really well. Ultimately, the color I'm trying to achieve here is very similar to Paint Couture's Venetian Bronze Luxe Metallic. Now, I don't have that yet, so that is on my list to grab. So we've made our own today. I'm then going to start adding that product all over the project, and I love this because it still has the bronze look to it, but it has more of a gothic, moody feel, which is definitely the look we're going for. For me, I wanted this to be something that could definitely be used in Halloween decor as well. I would just be changing out whatever I put on the inside, and just again really wanting that beautiful ornate gothic vibe. And the Luxe Metallic here mix that we've created, that again is very similar to Venetian Bronze, is definitely achieving that look. I am not going for full coverage here. I actually want some of the black to show through underneath so that it has a more weathered appearance. So I just did 1 coat. I let my paint dry completely, and then I took out a little plant that I had in my stash, and I'm going to be placing it in the urn. And because we are going for a more moody vibe, I am going to start adding some Spanish moss around the top section. Now, I'm not going to glue this in. As I said, I want to be able to change this out for different sort of styles or different seasons, so I want to be able to have that flexibility. I'm just going to be sitting the florals and the Spanish moss in there. And here's a look at our finished Gothic urn. I love how this turned out. It definitely has been completely transformed by that redesign mold and the metallic paint that we created. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. For my next project, I'm going to be working on this oval metal tray. I thrifted it for just $1, gave it a clean, and then I sprayed it with some gloss clear coat. And now I'm going to come in and I'm going to be using some more of that pitch black chalk paint and salt wash mixture that we used in the first project. And I'm going to be dabbing on 2 coats of this on the entire tray. I am not too worried about it being smooth. I actually want to create that more textured look, so the salt wash is helping here. We want this to look like a vintage artwork ultimately. I ended up, as I said, doing 2 coats, but my second coat was very light. I then took out IOD's Rose Botanical Transfer. This is one of the designs from there, and I'm just using my fingernails to sort of crease where I'm going to need to cut so that it will fit in the inner section of the tray. And I'm just going to trim that until I have it to the size that I want. And then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to peel the white backing off and then position the transfer in the center. I'm then going to press that down, and I'm going to be using the transfer stick that comes with the pack to start rubbing and burnishing the design down. I like to go all over my transfer first to get it all stuck down, and then I pick up the plastic and I start lifting that as I'm rubbing. If I miss any spots, I can put it back down and keep going, and I'm just going to continue until I have that all transferred down. I then decided to grab a couple of pieces that I trimmed off just to finish off the tips of the roses. I thought that this looked like a sort of more finished look here, so I then added the gloss clear coat over the top of it to seal everything in, and I am going to be doing 2 coats. I was going to leave it here, but it felt too plain, and I thought about adding just a simple casting up the top, but in the end I grabbed IOD's Trimmings 3 mold. I'm going to roll out some of my DAS air dry clay and start working that into the mold. I thought that I would create my own frame design around the outside with these castings. I'm just using my fingers to push out the excess clay, and I've already got cornstarch in my mold, so that's going to make it easier for me to get my castings out. I'm then going to be flexing the mold, and these are designed to be joined together, so this is perfect for this project. I'm then going to start pulling the mold out. Now you can also flip it over and gravity can help you with that. And then I'm going to start positioning it on the tray. So I am going to have to bend it and manipulate it a little bit because obviously we are dealing with an oval surface here. I'm just going to continue casting the exact same trim design until I have enough to go around the outside of my tray to create the look of an oval frame. Once I have enough of that trim design cast, I'm going to work out how much I need to trim off. You can see they do connect together. And then I'm going to be carefully pulling those off a section at a time, and I'm going to start adding my Sealy's Quickset wood glue directly to the surface, and I'm spreading that out with my finger, making sure that I have a really nice generous coat there to make sure everything's going to stick on. And then I'm going to reposition my clay castings, and I'm going to be repeating the same process until I have all of those pieces stuck down. So this is definitely something that you can do on plain frames to transform them, give them some more character. I have done quite a few videos where I have added molds to frames to give them a whole new look. It really is an easy way to update them, and it's really effective. This has just gone from a plain tray to something that looks more like a vintage ornate frame. I then let my castings dry for several hours and then came in with Paint Couture's Pitch Black chalk paint. I have not added any of the salt wash mixture to this. This is just the straight chalk paint because I want the castings to show their best advantage. I want to see all of those beautiful details. I'm just using my eco brush here to really dab it and get it down into all of the details. I ended up doing 1.5 coats. That second coat was pretty light, and if I got any of the paint in the center part, I was able to use a wet wipe to wipe that back because we have that clear coat down. Once that was completely dry, I took out Paint Couture's Bronze Luxe Metallic, and I'm just dabbing that all over the outside section of the frame. I am not going for full coverage. I want some of that black peeking through. I think that will give it a more vintage and worn look. It will look like some of that bronze is worn away over time, and it does give it that beautiful gothic aged look. So I'm just going to continue to work my way around the frame until I have that added around the entire outside. And here's a look at our oval frame artwork. I love how this turned out. It's hard to believe that was just a plain silver tray before. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. For my final project today, I'm going to be working on this sweet little ceramic owl. I thought it was adorable but very plain. We're going to give it a moody makeover. I've already sprayed it with that gloss clear coat, and now I'm going to apply some of my pitch black chalk paint, and I'm just going to be dabbing that all over the owl. I don't want too much texture, but I do want a bit more of an eggshell type finish. I ended up doing 2 coats to get the coverage that I wanted. If I inspire you to try any of the Paint Couture products used in today's video, I would really appreciate it if you would use my affiliate link. I will put that in the description and on the screen. I just get a little thank you from Paint Couture in return. Once my 2 coats of chalk paint were dry, I took out Paint Couture's Vintage Lace Luxe Metallic and a small artist brush. I'm just going to be adding this to the sections around the eyes, and I'm loving the shine that this is bringing. I think it is perfect for moody decor or Halloween. I am going to leave the eye sections, however, I do want those to be black, and I am brushing it on, but then I'm changing the direction of my paintbrush so that I have sort of like the wispy sort of of broken ends on the outside so that it's sort of more reminiscent of feathers. I felt like that was a bit more of a realistic look. I'm going to be doing the same thing on the right and left hand side. I did one coat, but then I did go in and do a few little touch-up areas where it wasn't quite filled in as much as I would have liked. When that was dry, I started applying some of that custom color that we created in the first part of the video with the bronze and the black pearl, and I'm applying that up the top to the sections that almost look like his eyebrows. I'm adding that there, and then I'm also going to start adding it to the wings. Now I'm not going for full coverage. I want some of that black peeking through. I think that that is definitely something that just sort of goes a bit better with Halloween. It definitely doesn't need to be perfect. I'm going to be adding it on this little wing, and also I'm going to be adding it on the other wing, of course, so that it's all balanced and matching. But I'm also going to add it to his little feet. I thought that that was a nice touch. I then took out an even smaller artist brush, and I'm just going to go around the edges of his eyes. There's a little rim there that sort of defines the eye area, and I'm going to add some more of that custom bronze and black pearl mix just around the edges. Now I only ended up doing one coat. That's all I needed for this section. When the metallics were completely dry, I took this little owl outside and I sprayed it with a gloss clear coat. And here's a look at our finished owl statue. I love how this little guy turned out. I think before he was very plain, now he's moody. It's giving off Harry Potter vibes, I think. Perfect for the Halloween season. Let me know what you think of this in the comments. I really hope that you've enjoyed today's video and that it's given you some ideas on how you can transform thrifted finds into moody home decor. Let me know if you had a favorite project from today. If you enjoyed today's video, I would really appreciate it if you would hit that like button, comment, and share it out. If you haven't already, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our videos. You can find the products used today on our website, theprovincialfarmhouse.com.au. Thanks for watching.